I remember trying to resuscitate her back before we took her to the hospital, and after that, the ICU. Everybody else wanted to keep her alive, but I knew that there was no hope, so that was the point where I honestly just wanted everybody to let her go.
Can you share with us more about the passing of his loved one?
Okay, so our friend that passed was my grandfather. Passed last year in March, so it's about 1 year now.
So my mother passed on the first day of 2020. It's been a year now, and I'm learning to deal with it a lot better. I think when she was first diagnosed, I was very young, I was only 14. It didn't really dawn on me that she will be dying soon, or she won't be here for the majority of my life. I think I always thought that she's a very strong woman and things will get through, and there was a lot of treatment options at the time, and she seems healthy otherwise. So I guess from an outsider's perspective, it's almost impossible to tell that she carries such an illness like lung cancer.
So initially, he had cancer of the head of the pancreas. We caught it really early, and therefore he could go for surgery. So he had a Whipple surgery, and he got through it, really well. But the moment that it became a little bit more real was when the cancer relapsed. He started going for chemo more seriously, and it didn't look good from the start. Some drugs worked a little bit better than others, but in general, the cancer marker still didn't really go down. It really sucked because one of the greatest side effects of chemo is the loss of appetite. So my grandfather, he loved to eat. We were born over food. We would go out for sushi. He'll go there, he'll order the bigger sashimi set, and then he will wall up the whole thing. And it sucked to see his appetite go.
She was diagnosed with another form of metastasis. So the disease has migrated to her cerebral spinal fluids and has affected her movement, and her lower body was basically paralyzed. And that was when it really, really hit me, and how little time I have left with her. So that was when the doctors told us that there's no more options left, that we've tried everything. We were quite stubborn, and we still wanted to keep her at the hospital, thinking that there were other options going on. I think it was, first of all, really difficult for us to accept that we have to take her home and just care for her symptoms one day at a time.
So in about the start of 2020, the doctors realized that the drugs that they're giving weren't working. The cancer was very, very stubborn. Then they had a conversation with him, thankfully. They sent him to the palliative care doctor. So she told him that all the treatments didn't really work, and your cancer has metastasized to your liver. It's probably spread over your body. There is no surgery, no treatment that we can really give you. Right. At that point in time, he could see he was slowly getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And as the weeks went by, he deteriorated so quickly. It was so shocking because he was so well, and then he suddenly dipped. So 1 week from death, he was able to just talk. He was lucid, he was completely conscious. And then I think in 2 days or so, he just started to sleep a lot more. And then his consciousness went like that. And then he was in a sort of half awake, half sleep state. To the point that I really didn't know if he was there with us. And it was so heartbreaking to see, because you could see the life being sucked out of him.
She was basically bedridden and didn't have very good cognitive function by that point of time. So it was more like taking care of a child. I remember I wrote a whole schedule down for everything I need to do of the day from 6 a.m. onwards, when to feed her, when she needs to take her medicine. It was tiring, and it became very robotic for me to just wake up every day and then do this, do that. It was very difficult being a caregiver on someone that you really love, because you just feel like every day she's not getting better, and towards the end, she was not responding when I call her mom, and it was getting really depressing, and I definitely struggled a lot in terms of my mental health.